All right. Additional thoughts, 808s and Heartbreak. This is going to be a long one. It's been an interesting week, both with the album and all the extra content that goes with it in terms of like live shows and videos and all this other stuff. And with everything that's been happening with Kanye, I think I will.
What happened with Kanye?
Oh, you'll hear. Just hold on. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. I'll put a timestamp so for those of you who want to hear about the album, first half, and then all the Kanye stuff, second half. I love 808s. I will not say it's my favorite just yet. I've only heard 4. No, 5 albums now. I've heard 5 albums now. The College Trilogy, 808s, and Yeezus. 808s is really good. It's really good. And, well, hell, let's look at the track list, I guess. We'll tackle that first. It cracks me up that with Say You Will, I completely missed the heart rate monitor beat. Like, I don't know how I missed that. And then a couple people pointed it out to me and I went, oh, fucking obviously. Like, it's so clearly that. And then for it to fade away and then for it to drop into Welcome to Heartbreak after that. Heartless, I understand Heartless is still a very, very popular song. I don't quite get into it just because the lyrics don't pair as well with the style of sound that's being used. And not that the lyrics are bad or that the sound is bad. I mean, it's all fine, but I want to check out, there's a song by Pantera called This Love. Go listen to that song. Like, that's what I think of when I hear someone singing about someone else who is heartless. That's the kind of the emotion I want to express and hear, just these screams and heavy riffs and all that kind of stuff. So, that, and then of course my Choo Choo Train experience with Heartless, which I still do hear. I'm sorry. I don't know. That's what my brain latched onto. And there you go. But then you get into Amazing, which is great. Love Lockdown was really, really growing on me big time. Those tribal drums, man, just awesome. Awesome drums. So I really like that track. Paranoid, of course, I love. RoboCop started growing on me quite a bit just because a couple of people pointed out to me that it's kind of supposed to be silly. Like, it's almost satire in a way, just like the movie RoboCop is in a way satire, sort of. It's not a serious movie. It's a ridiculous movie. And that concept plays in really well with the lyrics that are happening in RoboCop and the sounds of, that go with that theme. Streetlights is still my favorite. I love Streetlights. There was a day, I think it might have been Monday. Yeah, because I was back at work. I mean, I fucking listened to that song probably 20 times in a row. There's that cadence with the beat. It just constantly feels like you're trying to catch up, trying to get to that place, which is perfect to the lyrics and what they're talking about and how, all these events keep going by and, I know my destination, but I just can't get there. He captures the feeling so well in the sound. And then by looping that chorus, it's just, great song. And then it drops into Bad News, which is a great one. See You in My Nightmares, tell everybody that the way he's yelling that out is fucking awesome. Coldest Winter, and then Pinocchio Story, of course. When it comes to Pinocchio Story, I feel like, thank God Beyonce heard that and sold Kanye on it, because I don't know if this album carries as much weight without that closing track. That closing track, well, I was going to say I think it's poor taste. I was going to say it's kind of like putting the lid on the coffin, but that's poor taste, I think. It's just such a punctuation mark on the album. Well, yeah, I said it because it's stupid to go, I should say, I'm not going to say this. Because then it's like, well, what the fuck was he going to say? So I said it, but I don't mean it. We're having some producer assistance here on this episode.
I'll leave you alone.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't know if the album has the hit that it does. I guess really the finality. And that song, that performance, that specific recording with the audio the way it is, Kanye sounding so far away, it essentially being a freestyle from what I understand. I think it was the first time he had played it in front of people, the audience not knowing what's going on. It's just, it's perfect. Unfortunately, it is perfect. Obviously, it made me very emotional, made a lot of you very emotional from the comments that you've left. It's an incredibly powerful song, especially at the end of this album and everything that Kanye is going through. So, yeah, I mean, there you go. I did listen to, so what did I do for the extra stuff? I did listen to the Never See Me Again track, which was kind of his, supposedly his suicide note leaked thing. Strange song. It sounds unfinished, which I assume is the case. It just has a weird sound to it. But some of the lyrics were really interesting. You know, don't worry about me. It's going to be a long time before you see me again. I'd rather live by what I live by and then die when I'm fine. I'm going to stand by myself till the very last breath because you know what? A coward dies a thousand deaths. That line, all those lines are important to me because when I get into Kanye a little bit later in this video, there's so many things kind of rolling around in my head about what has happened and what he's been doing and so on. Let me just get through the rest of my notes and I'll stop staring at my notes. My thought process will improve and my speaking will improve. What else did I watch? Oh, I watched the VH1 Storytellers. That was cool with Heartless folding into Pinocchio's story. That was really good. Really good. And then, of course, I watched the entire show of his performance at the Hollywood Bowl, what was it, 2015 or whatever it was. That was a great show. Great show. And some interesting things happened in that I took notes on. You know, it starts out with Say You Will. And you've got the figure that's his mother standing on one part of the stage. And then the figure that is his fiance or ex-fiance, I don't know, you know, at the time, whatever, standing on the other part of the stage. And it opens up with Say You Will. And throughout that entire performance, he never looks at the figure that is his mother. And I thought about that while I was watching that, and I wondered if in that moment in his life when his mom was dying, if he did not realize his mom was dying, if he thought, okay, she's sick, she's in the hospital, but she's okay, like right now she's stable, you know, as presented by the heart monitor beat that's just steadily beeping. And so in that situation, I wonder, was he only thinking about his fiance and what she was doing behind his back? And then in doing that, did he miss his final moments with his mom? Because I kind of feel like that's the impression he was trying to give. And that just makes everything so much worse, in my opinion, you know? Because it's like he took those last moments for granted, thinking they weren't going to be the last moments. So there was that. Let's see what else I got. It's cool to see Kid Cudi come out there. And then the other guy, I guess his name's Hudson. He was out there. That was cool. You know, they go through the album. You get to RoboCop. Let's see here. I liked when he got the crowd to sing along with him with the, you know, you spoiled little LA girl because they're in LA. So that was kind of fun. When it gets to Streetlights, you know, the one thing I didn't really understand on Amazing was when all those guys behind him. And so I don't know if that represented his fan base or what, but I just didn't really get that. And then they all wander off into the crowd. I didn't really get that. But you get to Streetlights. Everybody's gone. All the other women are off stage. You know, on RoboCop, they bring out all these other women. And so I have to assume that those are the women that Kanye was just, you know, running through after all of these things fell apart, his mom passing and his fiance leaving. And then they all wander off, which is interesting. And then you get to Streetlights and he's just sitting on the ground singing that song, which is an incredible song to begin with. And it's got his mother figure over there and his ex-fiance. Again, those are the only two on stage now. And it was just interesting that he was sitting on the ground behind them singing the song while they stood in front of him, like they were still at the forefront of his mind, but somehow out of reach, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. Or like he's in a sense of being defeated, like he can't conquer these two entities. Like they have won, whatever they are, whatever they represent, they have somehow stood out above him and defeated him. I don't know if that's the intention. You know, it's an interesting performance. And it was very artistic, but sometimes it was hard to really understand the artistic intention. And so that's just kind of the impression I got from that. Or no, was it Bad News? Let's see. All the women leave, just the mother. On Bad News, all the women leave. Yeah. Yeah. On Streetlights, the women step aside. They're still there, but anyway. And then, of course, on See Me My Nightmares, you know, the pronunciation of that, you know, and how he's just like hammering that one home. And then the Pinocchio story performance at the Hollywood Bowl is fucking phenomenal. It is phenomenal. I honestly think, I mean, I have not seen all of the live performances that have ever been done, but I think that is the best live performance of a song that I have seen. It is so good. So good. And when he gets to the back half and turns it into something positive, you know, really goes into this freestyle rant again, but people knowing what the song is about, what it represents, are there to actually listen and respond to what's happening. It was just fucking phenomenal. In that, it made me think of, okay, well, what are some of my favorite performances of all time? And this is something I've wanted to bring up forever, but, you know, I wanted it to be appropriate. It's not a live performance, but if you guys have not seen Johnny Cash's video for Hurt, you got to watch it. It's amazing. It's amazing. And if you watch it, actually, I'll put a link in the description so you guys can just click on it and check it out. Watch that video. It's the most incredible video I've ever seen. And, you know, Johnny Cash had a hell of a life too, pretty rough, kind of like what Kanye's going through. And it's just fucking incredible. I don't want to talk about it too much because I'll just say the same thing over and over again. Watch the video. If you don't know much about Johnny Cash, that's okay. Just consider what you know about Kanye West and his life as a parallel and watch the video. It's incredible. I mean, I'm almost crying. It is incredible. For those of you who did not catch it the first 3 or 4 times I said it.
I'm just not thinking about it. Because, well, now you have me saying.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay.
It is really good.
So, I think that's all I have on my notes. Yeah. So that's the bulk of my experience with the album content. I watched the music videos. They were pretty cool. You know, I enjoyed I forget which track. I think it was Heartless where it was animated. That one was really cool. Anyway, so now let's move on to Kanye. Where are we at here? 13 minutes. Okay, so everything going on with Kanye. You know, it's been an interesting week because I feel like I'm having my first proper Kanye experience. Whereas up until now, everything's been like an album experience or seeing something live or whatever. Initially, it was all very strange to me because I don't spend much time online. You know, I'll bounce around Reddit, I'll lurk there. I have Twitter because of this channel, and so I'll see stuff on Twitter. And honestly, I don't like Twitter. Like, as I spend time on Twitter, I go, fucking Twitter sucks because there's always that sidebar feed of shit I don't want to see ever, but they just keep putting it there over and over again. It drives me nuts, honestly. And then with Discord, you know, people are talking and chatting, and obviously they're talking about Kanye, everything's going on. And so it was interesting for me, especially over the weekend, to see so much chatter about this when I, as a person, I don't spend time paying attention to that kind of stuff. So initially I was like, wow, you know, God, people are just really talking about this. It's kind of weird. And I just, you know, like, no. Don't take what people are doing and dismiss it. Think about it. Like, what's going on? Let's dig into this, because one of the things I feel like our, I guess, online society is really severely lacking is an attempt to understand what other people are going through or what other people are thinking about. It seems like specifically online, there's just attack, condemn, that's it. No consideration of the other side. No trying to think about a different point of view. Like, no, you disagree with me, therefore you're wrong, and that's it, and move on, or just argue endlessly for whatever reason. So I started just thinking about it, and I ultimately got back to, actually part of it was from a recording I did for another conversation with the community with Malcolm, not Samuel, Malcolm. I forgot his name. I apologize, Malcolm. I remember it now, so I hope that helps. And we were talking about how, you know, when people listen to music that you like, if they just crap all over it, it hurts you as the fan because you enjoy it so much. It's not even about even just the artist being offended by it. And that ended up looping me back to what I was talking about in my additional thoughts video for To Pimp a Butterfly. And that line from Mastodon that's been in my head forever, all my heroes, they're all dead. And I took that and I thought, you know, so many of you have talked about how Kanye is your hero. He's your inspiration. He is the one who made this music that helped you deal with this, with that. Like so many positive things about Kanye and what he has done in people's lives with his music and with his personality. And so I think it's reasonable to say that for a lot of people, Kanye is their hero, or at least one of their heroes. And to see him doing what he's doing, all this crazy shit on Instagram, you know, publicly disavowing Kid Cudi, we're not fucking friends anymore, all this shit against Billie Eilish, like just clearly ridiculous shit, right? It's like watching one of your heroes die. And, well, maybe not die. That's a little extreme, but fucking disintegrate, you know, like fall. And that sucks. That really sucks. As a fan, it sucks. As somebody who looks to someone else for inspiration, it sucks. And it hurts. And then you get the double whammy of, you know, social media is just pumping it constantly until you can't get away from it. So once I had that mindset, it made more sense why so many people were talking about it, why so many people seem to be affected by it. Because for me, in my enjoyment of music, if an artist does something, half the time I don't even know what happened because I don't pay attention to it. And so my music and my enjoyment of music kind of exists in one space in my life. And then my opinions of people are pretty well removed from my enjoyment of music. The other thing too is for me, even though I'm learning Kanye and I do like his music a lot, he has not, you know, affected me the way he's affected some of you. He has not been present in my life long enough to carry me through certain situations, inspire me, so on. I don't really remember where I was going. Oh, actually I do. Now I do. So I thought, okay, well, how can we as fans who have basically no control over this situation, what can we do, you know, to try and cope with this shit, to deal with it? And I thought, well, let's try and understand, you know? And in understanding, I think this is something that's being lost online. People, I feel like, conflate understanding with either agreeing or disagreeing with what's happening. And that's not true. You can make an effort to understand someone without condoning or condemning what they're doing. You don't have to pick a side, you know? You just try and learn what their point is. So with Kanye, you know, I feel like we all understand that he has some mental health issues. I think he's bipolar or somewhat bipolar. I don't know for certain. You guys know better than I do. I'm sure you'll let me know. So, I mean, right there's one thing that is difficult to understand for those of us who don't suffer from that. And then two, he's got an ego. And that's not a disrespect thing to Kanye at all. It's just, you know, he has an ego. We all have an ego, but I feel like he's got a substantial ego. And that's a thing. You know, that's something that affects how people behave. It's how they react to other people, especially in a public light. And then you have all of these other factors. You've got the fact that, you know, his first serious relationship with that woman, his fiance, fell apart. His mom died. His family with Kim Kardashian stuff, he's lost that. Like, there have been so many points in his life where the foundation that he had has fallen out from underneath him. And then you combine that with the fact that there's an entire industry that exists to feed off of the public lives of celebrities, to just constantly pump their fucking drama so that they can sell advertisements. It's disgusting to me. Honestly, I hate it. And I don't mention that to try and shame anybody who reads this stuff or whatever, but it's something that exists. And so when you take all these things, you've got a guy who clearly wants family in his life. You can listen to so much of his music and find that. Clearly has some struggles with mental health. Clearly has an ego. is also another thing I was going to mention. There's a well, I won't. There's an interview with Billy Corgan on Joe Rogan that's really interesting because he's talking about how when you reach the height of fame and you do so via your own process by writing your own music, the way you do it, you get to a point where no one can tell you you're doing it wrong because the way you've done it, which is your own way, got you to where you are. So of course you're right. And how many times in Kanye's life has Kanye felt like it's him against the world, where people are trying to hold him down, where he has to fight and do his thing to prove everybody wrong. And then when he does, he comes out on top. So that's another factor that folds into this guy's mind, I assume. You know, I don't know. That I've kind of derailed on my own train of thought, but there's so many elements that fold into what's happening right now. So when I really step back and I think about it, I was kind of thinking about it today. I was like, shit, this could actually not be that bad. Like, this could be a lot worse, what's happening right now. And I did see yesterday, I guess he got on Instagram and posted a thing where instead of it being in all caps, like it was normal writing, you know, he was using punctuation. He was conveying a message that was a lot easier to digest and understand. And that's another element too. You know, he goes off on these rants and he's kind of trying to go to war against the media. And when you don't speak well, which he kind of doesn't, you don't win that war against people whose jobs is to speak well. You don't win that war. It just doesn't work. So there's a lot of elements at play. And again, I say all those things not to say, okay, now we can pick a side better. No, it's just to understand. That's it, to understand. And then hopefully from a place of understanding, we as fans, whether you want to do it on social media or just in private or whatever, you can say, okay, I just hope this guy, you know, I hope this stops. I hope he calms down. I hope he apologizes, relaxes, whatever it is that he needs to do to just kind of cool his jets and get back on track. But it's been interesting. It has been really interesting. A couple nights ago, I was on Discord with some people and we were just chatting on voice chat, and they were talking about how, yeah, sometimes it's really fucking hard to be a Kanye fan because he'll just fly off the handle. And it's like, oh, I got to go into hiding because I can't say I'm a Kanye fan because our online world has gotten so crazy where if you say you're a fan of Kanye, you now magically somehow condone everything he does, which is obviously bullshit. It's not true. It's not how it works. Anyway, there you go. I don't know if that helps at all. It kind of helped me. Hopefully it helps you. There's just a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise in the world. And sometimes you got to take the effort and the time to just step back and just one at a time, take out all of the elements that are adding to this noise. And when you do that and somewhat isolate them, it gets a little quieter. It gets a little easier to understand what's happening. It was a good week though. Overall, really good week. I enjoyed 808s. I had no problem listening to it again and again. No skips for me. I don't skip any of the songs. I go all the way through every time. Or I just go straight to Streetlights and listen to that 5 times in a row. Or Pinocchio Story if I feel like crying my eyes out again. You know, or Paranoid. Fucking Paranoid's got that beefy beat to it. Lockdown. Love Lockdown with those tribal drums. I mean, the whole album's great. The only one I kind of go, is Heartless. So again, listen to Pantera, This Love. Check out that song and you'll hear what I think of when somebody is heartless. That's what I think of. Friday is Biggie, Ready to Die. I'm excited. I am ready to listen. Nothing. No laugh, no smile, nothing. All right then. All right. We'll see you guys on Friday.